if a year ago, when we were campaigning against Donald Trump, we had said Donald Trump is going to try to radically change election rules before the midterm elections, he's going to get his allied governors to file lawsuits to remove duly elected Democrats from office and replace them with their own hand-picked lackeys. And then Donald Trump is going to send the FBI to go illegally arrest Democratic lawmakers just because they disagree with him. People would have said we were acting crazy. But it's not crazy. It's the truth. It's what's happening here and now. Democrats are in the fight, but we've got to fire up the entire nation and all people of conscience to actually really understand how grave this threat is. Democracy doesn't just come around election time. The fight for democracy is happening here and now in Texas. And if he's able to crush voters of color, violate the Voting Rights Act, illegally arrest lawmakers here in Texas, then Donald Trump's going to spread that scheme all across America.
Congressman, you had the president on CNBC just this morning insisting that these seats belong to Republicans. Take a listen.
We have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
Congressman, you will correct me if I'm wrong, but the only people who are entitled to those seats, to use the president's own language, is the people of Texas.
No politician owns a seat. No member of Congress, no president owns a seat. The people own those seats. And look, I think Donald Trump is getting to the heart of the matter. Donald Trump says he's entitled to 5 more congressional seats in Texas. Donald Trump thinks he's entitled to accepting a $400 million bribe from a foreign government in the form of a plane. Donald Trump says he's entitled to being able to get billions of dollars in corrupt crypto deals and payoffs from companies like Amazon. And then Trump thinks he's entitled to have Congress never hold him accountable. That's why Trump is pushing this racist, radical, and illegal redistricting scheme so that Democrats have no chance of taking back the Congress and holding him accountable. We can't let that stand. And let's call this ultimately what it is. This is Donald Trump executing the most entitled and corrupt presidency in American history.
So, Congressman, to your earlier point, I would submit to you, if you and your fellow Democrats had campaigned in the 2024 cycle, that you wanted control of the state legislature so that you could gerrymander Democratic control of the state and add seats, I submit to you that the governor and all those fellow Republicans of his would be screaming their brains out with offense to the idea that you would want to control the political outcome of the state that way. But the reality for you still remains. Your seat is caught up in this gerrymandering scheme. And so what I'm curious about is, what are your voters saying? What are the constituents who elected you saying? And what are the people of Texas saying? Because at the end of the day, a congressman, a senator, a state rep, a president can bemoan the political realities that befall them. But at the end of the day, it is the people that control just how real that reality remains or changes. So what are your folks saying to you about the situation regarding the individual that they put in that seat, meaning yourself?
They can gerrymander these lines however they want, but the people of Texas are not going anywhere, and people in Texas are fired up against this illegal and radical redistricting scheme. Just yesterday, when Governor Abbott threatened to remove virtually all the Texas Democrats from office, over the course of just a few hours' notice, hundreds of people came together to picket Greg Abbott's governor's mansion. People in Texas are fired up, and we're executing a plan. First, we're going to support our brave Texas Democrats that have broken quorum and bought us time. Second, we're going to mobilize people all across Texas and all across the nation to support folks like Gavin Newsom fighting fire with fire and threatening Republican seats in his state. And then third, we've got to campaign so hard coming out of this fight and make sure that every Texas Republican that prioritized Donald Trump's water instead of helping Texas flood victims, those Republicans should be campaigned against. We should be recruiting great candidates and run a Texas Democratic ticket like we haven't seen in my lifetime.
Look, I definitely think that Texas is the blueprint here. And if they are successful in doing this in Texas, they're going to take this across the country, they as in Republicans, which is why folks should care about this. But you just said, the brave Texas Democrats, they have broke quorum to buy you all time. Buy time for what?
We need to buy time to stop this map. And here's the way that I think we stop the map. When Governor Gavin Newsom, hopefully soon, releases a map that shows that he can fight fire with fire and redistrict out California Republican members of Congress, those California Republican members of Congress need to go talk to their daddy, Donald Trump, and say, you're about to lose me my job with what you're doing in Texas. When we go do that in Maryland, when we go do that in Washington State, we can start showing that Democrats aren't just going to be Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts here while Donald Trump shreds the Voting Rights Act and shreds our democracy. These Texas Democrats are buying us time to build a more bold Democratic Party built for this moment and ready to fight back against Donald Trump.